Yo. What's up? It's your boy Judas came here, and let's get into it. Sup, though.
Is a holiday and occasion many people look forward to and use as motivation to pursue goals they usually wouldn't other times of the year. For many others, it's a day despised and resented. The following are 7 creepy things that happened on New Year's Eve, creating for some unsettling starts to New Year's. On New Year's Eve of 1920, the Drake Hotel in Chicago celebrated its opening night, which started with elegance but ended in tragedy. The Drake was expected to be one of the city's most beautiful and elegant hotels, but it ended in tragedy because it was the night a woman referred to as the Woman in Red ended her life. On this New Year's Eve day, a man and his fiancée, who was wearing a red silk gown, attended the gala held in the Drake's Gold Coast room. The man stepped away and did not return for over an hour, so his fiancée went looking for him. When she found him, he was accompanied with another woman whom he was showing attention to. The devastated woman climbed the roof and jumped to her death. Since then, guests at the Drake have reported seeing her apparition in the Gold Coast room, the Palm Court, and on the 10th floor, as well as the roof.
Oh no.
People also still to this day allegedly report hearing a woman's cries on the 10th floor and on the roof. Some believe her soul is condemned to replay her final night, attempting to find peace with the final tragic chapter of her life. Workers and guests have also on numerous occasions reported getting a creepy, uncomfortable feeling in the ballroom. On New Year's Eve in 2013, a man named Joseph Scott was hosting a house party among his close friends. The party was going normal until a few different friends started asking Joe about the sounds coming from the ceiling. The party was being held in the living room, and the attic was right above the living room. Joseph went to the bedroom which had the attic door inside of it and pulled the attic door down. He did this without telling anyone so as to not make any of the guests uncomfortable, but after multiple comments about the noise, he couldn't just ignore it and have that lingering in his head. Upon checking the attic, Joseph heard a loud, distinct cracking sound from the other side, behind a wooden wall.
Oh no.
He thought there might have been a raccoon up there, so he walked across the wooden boards of the attic, hearing his intoxicated friends down below in the living room laughing, asking, "What the hell is that noise?" When he got to the back section of the attic, which according to the layout was directly on top of the front door area of the living room, he saw somebody's hands wrapped around the top of a box, but their body wasn't visible. Joseph screamed as he was startled, but then he quickly assumed it was one of his friends. He went closer, and somebody who he didn't know popped their head out from behind the box. A middle-aged, angry-looking man. Joseph screamed bloody murder as he ran out of the attic yelling for his friends. He and his guy friends waited by the attic door guarding it while they waited for the police. Police were able to remove the man from the attic with ease. He was unarmed. The man didn't know anyone at the party, and he admitted to simply walking in during the party. He claimed he meant no wrongdoing. However, it's pretty likely he was planning on robbing the place when everyone was gone, or possibly worse. Similarly, with this one we have another party crashing type of story, as yet another uninvited guest somehow finds themselves in a random party. Only with this one, the guests seem to have materialized out of nowhere and joined the storyteller's New Year's Eve party. There was an older woman dressed in all white who was seen by most of the partygoers.
I can already tell that's off. I can already tell. I know. Nope. That's why it's important to know who come to your parties. It's important. It's important to know who comes to your parties. You can't just let anybody in. Nah, that's all. She even dress off. Come on now.
All of the doors and windows were locked, and no one admitted to letting the old woman into the house.
See?
Being in a polite and festive mood, the hostess did not ask the lady in white to leave. But according to multiple party guests, the woman reported that she was lost and couldn't find the party she was actually heading to. Upon leaving the party, she dropped 2 scarves on the doorstep. To this day, nobody that was there at that party knows how she got in. To add to this mystery, the writer adds that her cousin saw the same woman in his dreams a few nights later. No one ever saw her again. This one was recounted by a young woman and her boyfriend. The two were cleaning up the boyfriend's place, getting ready to have people over for New Year's Eve. As the couple was cleaning, they kept losing things and finding them back in the same place a few minutes later. The couple thought that they were just imagining it at first, or that the other was moving the objects without them seeing, but it kept happening over and over, and every time they needed something, it would disappear. Eventually, company starts to arrive. Their friend Carson gets there first, and the three sit down and watch TV. That's when the boyfriend made a statement, and in return, an unknown man's voice said, "Right." The three of them looked around to see if the boyfriend's roommates had returned, but no one was there. Later, when the roommates did return, they told the couple and Carson that they had been hearing the same thing since the night of the recently passed eclipse. A while later, the woman went to the bathroom, and as she was washing her hands, she heard a loud cough right behind her ear. All of the hairs on her neck stood up.
Nope. Nope. Come on now.
As she ran out of there. At first, no one believed her.
There's nothing more powerful than creating a track. But sometimes creating music can be
But when the rest of their company arrived, and they too eventually said that they heard a cough in the bathroom as well, it's not hard to tell why everyone believed her after that. The woman heard a cough in the bathroom one more time the next morning, but didn't hear anything again for a whole year, leading her to believe the strange occurrences only happen around the holidays. The Monte Vista Hotel in Flagstaff, Arizona opened on New Year's Day of 1927, and during the 1940s and 50s was a popular spot for Hollywood guests, and more than 100 Western movies were filmed nearby. Some of the guests of the hotel included Bing Crosby, Jane Russell, Gary Cooper, Spencer Tracy, and many others.
Okay.
There are many stories and legends of ghosts in this hotel, one of the more notable ones being the Phantom Bellboy, who knocks on doors and then vanishes. There have been dozens of guests over the years reporting that somebody would knock on their doors, then when they open them, nobody would be there. Alongside the bellboy is often what is believed to be a woman who has been seen multiple times outside of the suite that author Zane Grey stayed in, which, as it turns out, is a room in which two prostitutes had been murdered long ago. But there's more with this hotel. Multiple guests who have stayed in the room that actor Gary Cooper stayed in have reported hearing a man coughing and clearing his throat, pacing back and forth. Many guests have reported feeling unnerved by the distinct feeling that someone is watching them in that room. One of the last more notable paranormal phenomenons that have been reported in the hotel comes from the saloon. People believe a former bank robber haunts the saloon, as again, multiple guests have heard a voice and sounds from people who weren't there, and report an uneasy feeling of being watched. Ellen Roberts, a hotel desk clerk, reported that in 1970, 3 men robbed a nearby bank and to celebrate, stopped in our lounge for a drink, even though one of the men had been shot during their escape. While having his drink, the wounded man died, and some believe that he is the spirit that's haunting this area of the building. The hotel remains open to this day, and many people visit in hopes of encountering some paranormal activity. On New Year's Eve 1997, 2 friends, Olivia Hope and Ben Smart, were celebrating New Year's Eve and ran into trouble after their rental yacht that they planned to sleep on was overcrowded. They located a water taxi still operating and got on. Sharing the ride with them was a man who learned that they had nowhere to sleep and offered to let them stay on his boat. As this was their only real option, they accepted, and the taxi took them to the man's yacht. They climbed aboard the stranger's boat between 4 and 5 a.m. After that, the 2 friends were never seen again. The police conducted an investigation, and despite a number of witnesses describing the same man and the same 2-masted sailing boat, they focused on a man with a smaller boat named Scott Watson. Where this crime case went from there has been a source of controversy ever since. Police are confident they got the man responsible for Ben and Olivia's disappearances and likely murders, but even 2 decades later, the mystery around this case remains. On New Year's Eve of 2017, a group of friends had went on a camping trip to the Acadia National Park in Maine.
Camping? Never go camping. Look at that, man. Hell no. Camping? Nah. You're just asking for trouble. Asking for it. Nope.
They had been planning a New Year's camping trip for a long time, and it finally came to fruition. The 6 friends were separated into 3 different tents. They set up camp on a riverbank and set up their portable barbecue and campfire. The group had also come prepared with a bunch of fireworks to shoot off at midnight. For a majority of their time at the campsite, the friends had music blasting on their portable speaker and were drinking tequila. As the group got more intoxicated and louder, One of the friends told everyone to quiet down for a second and lowered the music because he thought he could hear something in the woods. While the group was quiet, they heard it. It was this long and slow whistling sound that would echo every few seconds. One suggested it was an animal, one suggested it was someone whistling, and one suggested it was a literal whistle being blown by someone. When they were quiet for long enough, the sound stopped. Eventually, the group resumed playing their music and drinking their drinks. When midnight came, the group began to shoot off their fireworks one at a time. After maybe 4 or 5 fireworks exploding, a blood-curdling scream came from the woods. The screams continued on and on. The group stopped shooting their fireworks and all jumped into their tents to hide, completely freaked out. The screaming stopped, but 3 of the 6 said they heard footsteps approach the campsite, and through the tent walls, reflecting through the glow of the campfire, they could see a very tall, hunched-over figure, ruling out the possibility of some small animal making the screaming sounds.
Oh no.
It didn't stay long, though. It disappeared along with the footsteps back into the woods. The group was so terrified they all communicated through their tents, not wanting to leave. They were simply too scared to even take the time to pack up and leave.
Yeah.
They waited it out until the sun began to rise. Then the group packed up and they were on their way. Not the most desirable experience to start a new year.
Yeah, I know that's crazy. Well, that's why you never go camping, even if you're with a group. I got tongue tied. Even if you're with a group, I never went camping before, and I never will. You know, I don't care if it's in a cabin or whatever. Camping, nope, never. That's crazy. Playing games. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the start. You know, had a nice year so far, and keep on having a nice day. And I guess I'll see you guys in the next video. See you next time. Stay tuned, more videos coming up. And peace out. Just turn on the post notification and subscribe. Smash that like button. I just woke up. But alright.